Hey guys, Paul here, and this is another video update to Void Destroyer 2. Today we're going to talk about the continuing work towards Unicap, Upkeep, money, and the economy, things like that. So if this is your first brush with Void Destroyer 2, check out a different video to get a more complete picture about what the game is. This talks about stuff a little later into the game, a little more on the economy side. All right, so the first thing you might notice is we now have this counter here. This is what I call a cycle timer. I didn't want to call it a day or a week timer or a month timer or a year timer or whatever. Those kind of words are not sci-fi enough, so I just called it a cycle timer. So what this does is every one cycle. So right now we just have one cycle. Every one cycle, an upkeep gets triggered. So every 100 seconds adds a minor cycle here. We have 6 minor cycles, and every 10 minor cycle creates a major cycle right there. So when this number reaches 10 or 999, that's when you pay upkeep. So what's the point of upkeep? The point of upkeep is to deal with the new unicap. And so let's talk about the unicap. The unicap is not a hard cap. What does that mean? It means you can be bypassed via several ways. So in Void Destroyer 2, often certain features fight other certain features in a way that I can't have certain things. So I can't really have a hard unicap. Why? Well, because you can capture ships. Why? Well, because you can have your own bases. So while I can't justify this civilian base not selling you all the transport ships you want, I can't justify you capturing a ship and not being able to use it. So because there's ship capture, you can use that to bypass the unicap. Plus, I really like that idea, that sort of design, that sort of idea where there's rules, but you can get around them in a certain way, especially if it's an active way. If it's a way like, hey, you go in, you're a pirate, you steal a transport ship or a mining ship, I think that's awesome. You know, I think that's pretty awesome, a way to bypass the unicap. So the unicap for trade ships is only related to bases selling you ships. It's not related to you building your own ships or to you capturing your ships. So again, it's a soft unicap. So the main point of the unicap is what civilian base will sell to you, upkeep, and to slow down the speed at which the player acquires trading ships, which means slowing down the speed at which the player acquires money really quickly. So I don't want the player to not have a big income, but I want the player to kind of slow it down a little bit, where trading isn't the greatest best and mining isn't the greatest best way to make money. That's what I want to work on. I want to balance it out a little bit more. All right, so this new interface that got put out in last patch can kind of shed some light on the unit cap. Right now, there's a unit cap of 10 transport ships. We have 7. This number, this 10, is determined by the trading level. Trading level is 10, unit cap is 10. So again, it kind of slows you down a little bit. You can't just buy 10 transport ships. You could capture those transport ships, but you can't just buy them from a civilian base until you level up your trading level, which levels up via profit made. Same thing with mining ships. Mining level is 4 here, determined by ore mined. Trading level is 5 because this ship also sells to a base, so it already made this profit. So this doesn't take too long to level. Like 2 trips with a standard mining ship will level you to level 1, which means 2 mining ships, and so on and so forth. So it's not something that is going to be like impossible or a huge grind, especially because you might keep adding more ships. But it also makes these ships a little more unique. This mining level and trading level also increases this profit for selling and the yield for ore. So it's kind of cool to level up these ships to make them a little more unique. A little bit of an RPG element in there, very, very tiny. So again, unit cap just for buying ships, not for capturing ships, not for building ships. It's also for ship upkeep. So when this cycle hits 2, we're gonna have to pay upkeep. So let's talk about upkeep. There's now a income and upkeep interface right here. Here we see the breakdown of upkeep and income on this side. So we have 7 active transport ships. Active transport ship is one in the overworld doing trading and mining, or as part of the player fleet, not one in the hangar. So if you have ships in the hangar, it doesn't count against this number. Each transport ship costs you 1,000 credits if it's within the unit cap, so 7,000 credits per cycle. We have 1 mining ship. We don't have any shuttles. For a grand total of, including fighters and gunships and things like that, corvettes, 40,000 credits. Oh my God, that seems high, right? Well, no, really, really small when you compare to your income here, which is what's this number? I got to work on these numbers, make them more human readable. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Is it 3 million? So far, you made 3 million. You're going to spend 40,000. So again, it's not about taking away the money. It's about slowing it down and not making it as crazily better than field patrol or bounty or missions or other things like that. Just kind of make everything a little more balanced. Most likely, trading and mining will still be the most lucrative, but I don't want it to be quite as lucrative that you make 3 million with while paying 7,000. You know, that disparity is a little too high. Plus, it's a little too safe. So if I toss in some more pirate attacks, I'm fine with that. 3 million number. When you have 7 of these, that's a pretty big investment. But I just want to slow it down a little balance it out a little bit. All right, so let's see. So you also see the upkeep for combat ships. And you see that there's no actual unit cap here. And most likely this is how it's going to stay, that there's not going to be a unit cap for combat ships. There's going to be a little different mechanic towards this that I'll work on in the future. We have the income. Let's see, what did I miss? Okay, so what happens when you have more transports than the unit cap? That's what we'll talk about next. Alrighty, so let's take a look. So now we have 10 transport ships. Unit cap is 10, so we're fine. The upkeep is 10,000. So again, it's 1,000 per ship. Let's take this number to 11 and let's see what happens to the upkeep. Okay, so now we have 11 transport ships. Unit cap is still 10. Our upkeep is now 12,100. So instead of going by 1,000 more, it has gone up by 2,100 more. So it's an increase of 1.1%. Let's take a look at 12. Alrighty, so here's 12. It's now 28,000. So those 2 extra ships are now costing you double the unit cap, or actually those 2 extra ships, yeah, are costing you about double of what the first 10 cost you. So this number grows really, really rapidly. So if it was 10 over, let's take a look at 10 over, or close to 10 over. Okay, so now we have 10 over unit cap, and we are paying at a 20 times multiplier. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. So now we are paying 400,000 upkeep. So we're still making quite a lot more, but the upkeep has gone dramatically up. So my hope is that the days of like, well, I have 40 trading ships are over. That just becomes a crazy number, and players can't afford that no matter what. It doesn't keep up with the profit. So 20 transport ships I'm okay with. 30 I might be even okay with. I don't know what the number would be at 30, but it would probably be really high. Um, but that's the idea, to just kind of limit that a little bit, while letting the player go over. So again, you could get to 20 unicap easily by just having two bases. So in the later game, um, it should become, my goal is that it becomes less about money and more about resources. So building your own ship in your own base is much cheaper than buying it in somebody else's base. So you don't need as much money, but it uses resources. So you actually need a more sort of logistics type economy where you transport ore from one base to another, or energy, or food, or weapons, or whatever, making money and having resources enough to buy. So this is the starting point of the unicap of Upkeep. Let's talk about what happens when you don't have money, and you got to pay 500,000 credits, but you don't have enough. Let's see what happens. Alrighty, so now I have 1 credit, and the cycle timer is close to reaching a new cycle. But at the same time, all these guys are trading, so you know what? I want to clear everything. Make sure these guys are not mining anything. Clear all this stuff. No more work for you guys. Don't make any money. There it is. There we go. All right, nobody's doing anything. Actually, we're getting money from patrolling fields and things like that, which is fine. It's not enough, I don't think, in this short amount of time to go over the upkeep. So let's unpause time dilation. Let's see. All right, 20 seconds till what? Till we got to pay 500,000 credits. Here we go. Alrighty. So we had to pay 500,000 credits, but we have a shortfall. And if you saw that, it said 29 ships. 29 ships were affected. So here, this caterpillar here, right here, suddenly stopped, right? Upkeep shortfall, you see it in the mouse over. Um, Basically, this ship is on strike. So what's kind of cool is this ship won't be making you any more money, won't be moving. It's just sitting there till you pay its money. Um, Pretty much on strike, pretty much dead in the water. So there is a consequence for this unit cap. You know, there is something to it, but it's not a hard cap, and it's something you can get around. I could pay the shortfall if I had the 500,000 credits. I could pay it here. I don't have it. But if I pay it here, then these ships would resume operation. There's another way around it. I could, well, could I? No, I don't think I could have them join my fleet because they won't move. So not paying them is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. They will defend themselves. Ships will still engage in combat. They're not suicidal, but they will stop and sit there. So um, maybe that's too harsh. Maybe I could have them work at like a third of speed or something. I'll still have to figure this out. But this is pretty brutal, especially considering that it might be really hard making this money to pay the shortfall or getting them back. So we'll see. We'll see about what happens here. So hopefully, if there's this crazy number, the player has enough money to pay the shortfall by going to the bases or by earning it, or the shortfall is not going to be so crazy as here. Usually you're not going to have like one credit or whatever. Um, yeah, so it looks like they're basically all. Let's see, are any of them actually moving? This one's shortfall. Yeah, because it was such a dramatic discrepancy. Well, no, there's some ships that are still moving. I saw a patrol field. Any guys active? This one's fighting. This Taurus is fighting. Looks like maybe that one's fighting. All right, so basically, shortfall is pretty brutal, but it definitely needs to be there in place to make this unit cap actually have something to it. Otherwise, players would just not pay it and things like that. All right, so I thought to myself, hey, if I'm really blasting the player with this shortfall, and the player's like, hey, what's going on? My ships aren't moving. What's going on? Oh my God, end of the world, right? They should kind of have a place to go to find out what happened to kind of investigate this. And players asked for this a while back too, and I sort of wanted to do it too, is the log. So right here, there's a new icon, log. Click it. Now you see what's going on here. There's a combat economy faction build log. You can toggle it high priority only. So right now in this log, we had field patrol of 1700, some other income here. And also we have this upkeep message of the shortfall that 29 ships are on strike. So if you missed that message because some other message kind of popped over it, you can go to the log and you can see it. You can see it right there. You can also, if there's a related object, like let's say this field patrol, you can click on the log and it's going to zoom you over to that field. Or if your Ton destroyed a interceptor, you can click it and you can zoom over to your Ton right there. So it's kind of a cool, I think, cool log, and it's got some cool function to it. Let's take a look at another save where this log is just kind of going to go crazy with a lot of events. Alrighty, so this save, we don't have to worry about the horrendous upkeep. We're not going to have our ships disabled, which means they're going to generate a bunch of log entries via trading, via mining. There they go. Ships are moving. There's mining going on, things like that. These ships are going to sell ore. Stuff like that. Let's look at the log. There's our trading. We can click it. We can look at the ship doing the trading. Let's look at some combat. There's a field here. And you know what? Let's take, whoa, let me uncheck this camera. Camera guy, there's a patrol. Let's take these guys and let's send them to a hostile field. So they generate some entries there, some combat entries. All right, so these logs, as you see, pop up over here. But you might want a little running log here. So actually, if you click log and if you click show log in main, you also get it right there. So it's kind of cool, I think. You don't have to really um, worry about missing a message here. You don't have to worry too much about going into this screen and scanning this like all the time, taking away from the action. You can just see it here. Oh man, so somebody killed our Apollo here. Um, this little icon here will tell you if it's a high priority message. If you click here and get out, it'll clear that high priority till the next time that some high priority log happens. So here there's another one, Anubis destroyed a ton. So as you can see, there's a lot of log entries happening. There's a lot of happening in this game. So what you can do is you can click log and you can say show high priority only. And this filters it down to much less. So high priority will be like upkeep, combat when certain ships are about to be destroyed, when ships are destroyed, if you capture a base, if a base is lost, if you're blockading a base, things like that. Those will be high priority logs. You can also filter these by build, by faction. So let's take a look just at the faction. So here we gain faction with pirates. We probably killed some other pirate. If we look at the combat, we see that this Apollo destroyed a reborn ship, and we gained faction with with pirates over there. So some of these entries generate a bunch of other entries. If you go economy, Apollo destroyed this rage. Um, we should have gotten a bounty for it. Looks like we're not getting bounty logs here. Gotta change that. Yeah, I gotta add the bounty to it. It's probably did. I'll have to look at that. But basically, I think this is pretty awesome. Um, having a log. There's the upkeep high priority message. Having a log here. Players asked for this for a while. There is this stuff that's happening here, but it's easy not to notice this, or easy for it to be overwritten by another message. Um, I think with these combinations of letting you filter these messages, only having high priority, having this here, I think this makes the game a lot more usable in the late game. Um, kind of what's going on. And also sort of kind of makes it a little more gamey. You see like the numbers behind the scenes, um, the faction gain. There it is. You see like +1 to faction. So it becomes a little more gamey in that sense, where you see some of the behind the scenes numbers. But it is a game, and I want it to be more usable for players, more reasonable to play it, things like that. So this log at the later game, I think is pretty important. I think it's a pretty cool feature. All right, guys. So what's next? And my usual end of devlog ramble. So um, I'm gonna probably take a look at trying to make the economy dynamic. What that means is if you have a million trading ships or a lot of trading ships doing the same run over and over as I have here, these Herculeses just keep getting this this big income this cycle. So far they made 300,000 credits. How long has it been? It's been 72 seconds. And they made 300,000 credits in 72 seconds. Um, so far we've made 400,000 credits total in this cycle of, again, 77 seconds. So if ships keep repeating the same trade route over and over, I'm going to put in diminishing returns, just like I did for over mining asteroid fields. So you'll have to be a little more clever in your trade routes. You can't just have them go back and forth. They'll buy up the supply, the demand will go up, the profit will go down. So you as the player will be motivated to have more interesting trade routes. And also I'll have to probably work on the auto trader right here, where it kind of recognizes, hey, this isn't as lucrative as before. Maybe I should go to another base, and get my money that way. So that's hopefully that's what's up next, is kind of working on the dynamic economy and improving some more trade. After that, I really hope to start working on more missions, story missions, kind of like faction missions. Maybe not so much the story yet, but kind of like more interesting faction missions, things like that. And I think at this point, I'm going to start calling the game an alpha. Let's see. As you can see, I'm calling this here pre-alpha. I think I'm going to start calling it an alpha. All these features are in. Uh, doesn't mean all the game's features are in or at the quality I want them. It just means the majority are in, um, and need polish. That's what an alpha means to me. All right, guys. Once again, thank you very much for your support. Wouldn't be here without you guys. Very much appreciated. I don't say it enough. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for the great reviews. Thank you for spreading the word, telling other players about it. You know, a lot of you have told me, hey, I told my friend, told my friends, I showed him the game. It makes me feel really good, really happy. Um, yeah, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys later.